Hi, I'm Jillian and welcome to the show. I offer spiritual growth for the rebel soul, guiding you through the labyrinth of your own ascension path. This show is for the rebel souls that challenge the status quo, those that crave authenticity in every single aspect of their lives, that desire to embrace their uniqueness, follow their passions, connect to their soul, and live according to who they truly are, even if that means having the courage to go against the grain or the norms of society. If that's you, my spiritual soul seeker, rebel warrior, then this is the place for you. On this podcast, we speak about everything from spirituality, sexuality, conscious relationships, business, and literally everything in between. So if that's your jam, then stay tuned. And go on, be a rebel and subscribe. You know you want to. Welcome back. So today I'm going to talk about something that I don't see talked about enough in the business space. And it is channeling your spirit team to actually build, scale, and grow your business. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, channeling in business? What do you mean? How does that even work? And I promise this isn't woo-woo stuff. This is really practical, tangible, and results driven, but through a spiritual lens, and is honestly the thing that has transformed my business and how I operate in business from an old 3D perspective and an old paradigm to the way that I work within business now. And I'm going to share exactly how it's changed everything for me and how I actually help my clients to do the same. So for those of you that don't know, before I owned my spiritual business, the one that I have right now, I owned a global digital media marketing and technology recruitment and career consultancy. And I owned and ran that for about 7.5 years. I built it from the ground up with blood, sweat, and tears. I'd been in the industry for about 11 years, and then I made the move. I decided to move from London back to Australia, where I'd spent about 1.5 years previously, back in the day, and build a whole recruitment company from scratch in a territory that I had never worked in professionally within recruitment and had no clients in. And I was like, yeah, sure, I can do this. Possibly a bit naive, but that's what she did. She was ambitious. And in that business, it was honestly all about logic. It was all about strategy. It was all about hustle. You know, I had the systems, the KPIs, the business plans, built the teams, like the whole setup. And yes, look, it was successful on paper. I'm not going to lie. It was a 7-figure business, but I was burned the fuck out. I was running on stress and friggin' prayer. And I was so focused on revenue, like every deal, every client, every issue, like I was taking on all the team's crap. It was like, I was just in this place of constantly overthinking, constantly pushing myself. And I really got to a stage where I just felt so disconnected to myself and really disconnected to my purpose. You know, what I had, the place that I was in when I made that move from London to move to Australia to launch and set up the business, what my vision was then to where I had expanded to and who I'd become because of all the inner work that I'd done was so no longer aligned. And, you know, even though the business, like, let's say worked, like I was so exhausted. You know, it's like I was kind of building someone else's vision, this vision of the 3D hustle culture that had been programmed into me for so many years that I realized like I was not fully living my vision. I was not in a place that I felt fulfilled, that was giving me meaning. You know, and once upon a time, my business absolutely did, because it was new and I was building something and I was developing and I was forming all of these skills. You know, I hadn't built or scaled a business before. You know, I was very good at my job, very good as a recruiter. I was like the top of my industry, the specific industry that I was in within Europe. But building and scaling a whole business, building and scaling a whole team was new for me. So it was new and exciting to start with. But again, all of the work that I'd done, how far I had been developing my own intuitive skills, my psychic abilities, my energy healing skills, my ability to channel into past lives, all these things, I started to raise my frequency. I started to raise my level of consciousness and started to really understand myself and what my soul craved and what it didn't crave and what was in alignment with me and what wasn't in alignment with me. And by trusting my spirit team, I burned everything that I had built in that business to the ground. And why? Well, because they told me to, firstly. Because I knew it was time. Like I said, I'd outgrown that business. I'd outgrown that business model, the way of doing business. Like I was no longer that same person, and it was just wasn't aligned to the bigger soul mission that I knew inherently that I had. So when I started this business, my spiritual business, everything changed because this is where I really started channeling my spirit team, not just in my spiritual work and my life, but in my business. Because by that point, I was using my psychic abilities, using my channeling abilities, using my healing abilities, really to work on other areas of my life. My relationships, my own personal journey, and all of those types of things. But I hadn't really ever used them within business. And this is where things really changed, because I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting all of like the shifts and transformations in these other areas of my life and my own personal growth, but I hadn't really used my spiritual team in business, in my offers, in my financial growth. And then I realized that business is not about strategy. It's not just about strategy. And this is, again, what is being hammered into us. If you've come from any type of corporate background, any sales focused background, any marketing background, any commercial background at all, strategy, revenue, numbers, like that is just drilled into us, hustle culture. But I realized that's not what business is about. Your business, especially if it's your own brand, has its own consciousness. And every single thing that you create, every offer you release, every product that you build, every launch that you do, every expansion that you have has an energy. It has a life, it has a consciousness. And when you start to work with your spirit team, you're actually working with a partner that is aligned with your soul purpose, your unique mission, and your highest vision. And this is something that most entrepreneurs just don't get, right? Your business that you've created isn't just an entity that you let's say, run. Because when you channel and work with your spirit team, you realize that your business, like I said, has a consciousness. It's almost, oh no, it's not even almost, it is your business partner. Just think about it, right? Like the energy of your business, this business partner doesn't have their own agenda. They completely share your vision, your goals, and your soul purpose. They're guiding you to make decisions, to create offers, and to move in ways that are perfectly aligned for you, for your own specific path in this world. You're not being asked, or they're not guiding you to make decisions based on pressure or trends or KPIs or someone else's idea of success, which again, if you worked in the corporate industry or the commercial industry, that's exactly what has been literally pounded into us. And if you've ever had an actual business partner, then you also are going to know how challenging it can be to get on the same page about so many things within your business. I had an old business partner who is thankfully still my friend, but we went through so many challenges. We went through so many discrepancies together. And in fact, we were best friends, and our relationship disbanded over the time that we had that business together, because we had to just focus on business and we couldn't actually have a friendship. And of course, as we evolved, as we developed, we are back to being like extremely, extremely close friends. But this is the challenge with business partners who have very different ideologies, very different ways of doing things, very different backgrounds, their own traumas, their own shit that comes up. It's really difficult to get on the same page. It's just like you having a partner, like a relationship, a romantic partner. Like, how many times have you had conflicts with your love partner? Yeah, because you're two different people. But your business is not. Your business shares the same soul contract, the same soul purpose as you, but it is able to guide you in a way that is of the highest perspective, not the one that is you in stress or trauma or doubt or anything like that. It is guiding you from the most aligned perspective. And when you work with it, when you work with your business this way, when you work with your spiritual team, when you are creating business by being spirit-led, your launches are going to feel so easy because you're being guided. You're going to trust it. Even if you're being told to do something that doesn't necessarily make sense to you logically, or what you've been taught, or the strategies you've been taught by business coaches, you're going to trust it because you've built this relationship and you know that this guidance, this information is coming from a trusted place of the highest perspective. And sometimes that highest perspective is so far out of your own level of consciousness that it doesn't make sense to you. And it's like, that doesn't make sense. How I'm being asked to do this, but actually, oh my God, that's expanding me in ways that feel uncomfortable. But that's growth. When you start to work with spirit around your business, you are going to create offers that are magnetic to the right people because they are going to resonate energetically with the people that need them the most. And that's one of the biggest things, right? When you're an entrepreneur, when you're a spiritual entrepreneur, when you have your own service-based business, finding soul-aligned clients is sometimes one of the hardest jobs. You could be attracting people that don't value you. You could be attracting people that you could just not be attracting people at all. And then you go into scarcity and money and all these things. When you start working with your spirit team, you're going to start to attract the most aligned people. And then your growth becomes sustainable because it's not coming from this like hustle or exhaustion place. It's coming from alignment. It's coming from the state of flow because you're trusting your intuition. For example, when I was ready to relaunch the Rebel Psychic School for the third time, I'd initially done this very kind of strategic plan, just like, I'd kind of done with the first two launches. But then this time I was going to do exactly the same timings, but something felt off instantly. So I was like, aha, what is this? So I channeled my spirit team and I asked for guidance. And what came through was incredibly specific, as always. And they told me the exact month that I was to launch and why. They told me that the timing that I was going to do that had worked for the first launch, like that timing was outdated. Like I wasn't meant to do that specific timing anymore because I had expanded personally, energetically, but so had the program. I'd reiterated so much of the program because of the transformations from my students in the first two rounds that I had been building it out to be much bigger, much better, and truly life-changing. And because I'd expanded, the program had expanded, the offer had expanded, my guides very specifically told me that I needed some more time to just fully embody the breadth of what I had now created. The first iteration was a 3-month program. The second was a 4-month program. And now it's a 9-month program. So you can see the expansion and the transformation and the energetic capacity of the container that is now what this program is. So logically, I thought I was ready to launch. But energetically, my guides were just telling me to wait. It was only 2 months they're telling me to wait, but I'm trusting it. And the minute that I got that information, that anxiety that I felt when I was planning to relaunch it at that same kind of time window as before, just completely dissipated, like in an instant. And that's when you know that it's truth. That is soul resonance at its best. because your body never lies to you. And that shift of my energy told me everything that I needed to know. And I was like, okay, great. I'm going to trust it. And it just gives me more time. It gives me more time. There's going to be more things that I want to be channeled into the program. And it gives me more time to build that out. And then that in turn is going to make it even more transformational for my students. Like, it's all perfectly aligned. And that level of specificity comes from channeling a consciousness that shares your mission, your spirit guide team, your business. All of it is your business partner in spirit, because your spirit team want the best for you. They know the soul plan, they know the contracts, they know the bigger vision, they know what you're here to do with it, they know your gifts, and they're here to align you every step of the way. And so is your business, the consciousness of your business. That's an extension of that. Now, obviously, it's not just me who benefits from this beautiful ability to channel, because I also work with entrepreneurs and industry leaders and helping them to channel through me. So I channel for them, but I also teach them how to channel for themselves and their businesses. So I've worked with, founders of neuroscience companies, leaders of like wellness and technology consultancies, entrepreneurs that have like their own design, lighting agencies, one that's building out their own natural perfume range. I've worked with healers, coaches, consultants, psychics, other spiritually led service providers, entrepreneurs. People that know that they are here to make real change in the lives of other people through their gifts, through their talents, through their services, whether that's certain communities, certain areas, certain people, humanity in general. Those are the clients that I work with. And with each client, like, I help them to channel their specific spiritual team for clarity on their offers, their launches, their marketing, their content, their partnerships, their internal issues, their systems, their teams, their clients, their business partners, their actual business partners, new revenue streams, opportunities for their growth. I help them amplify their unique gifts and their bigger purpose and align all of that with their business and their soul work, because that's the work that their soul came to do. And they understand why their soul came to do that. That's the work that we do. I connect them with the consciousness of their business, of their brand, of their marketing. So they act as a partner that is also just aligned with their mission. So the guidance that's coming through is just, oh my God, this is just fantastic, amazing. And it's tangible and specific. It's like giving you real specific understanding and nuances to anything that you need to understand about your business. And then we also work with their spirit team and their business to channel and identify and release any of the blocks that are holding them back from their money, their abundance, being seen, their visibility, their success, their clarity, like their direction, whatever it is. And as a result, their business becomes obviously more aligned, more magnetic, and so much more impactful. Because you're not here to hustle, you're not here to struggle. You're here to build business that is going to create you the freedom that you want and deserve, and to make the impact that you're here to also make. And my clients, like, when we go through all these processes, they can stop guessing. They start receiving the right next steps because their energy and their vision are guiding all of their strategy. They have the tools to navigate like the inevitable ups and downs that come with running a business, and to trust the cycles and the seasons, because you are going to go through those moments that seem like everything has gone on pause, and that all the work that you're doing hasn't come to fruition yet. That is part of the entrepreneur's journey. And if anyone tells you different, run. They are not the right person that you should be working with. As someone that has been running business for a very, very long time, I can tell you the champagne and razor blades moments because those are the moments that make or break most entrepreneurs. You know, when the self-doubt comes in, the fear, the distrust, the, not thinking you're going to be able to pay the bills, like not knowing where your next paycheck's going to come from, or your next client, or your next invoice, or, there's so many things that come up when you run your own business. When you're being asked, when your clarity goes dark and you're being asked to pivot, you're being asked to burn all of your old offers down and restart new. Like whatever it is, this is part of the evolution of your business, because this is part of the evolution of you. And having a direct line to spirit is honestly, it is the key to moving through these energetically sticky periods. Again, not only as you scale your soul business, but as you scale your soul itself, basically. Because, the difference between my old business and my new business is honestly night and day. In my old business, it was like, gosh, all I relied on was logic, strategy, hustle, overthinking, burnout. That's yes, of course we had wins and there were some great times, but that when I tune into the energy, that's the energy of it. This business now, it's all about channeling, it's about alignment, it's about flow, it's about giving myself rest. It's about giving myself space. I didn't give myself any rest in my old business. I was on 24/7 until I went into a state of burnout. But now it's knowing and trusting that I'm going to be supported no matter what, no matter if I take some time off, no matter if I have a break, and being able to make those conscious decisions instead of jumping at the wrong ones, out of fear or scarcity, and just having that energetic clarity is, oh my God, it's so helpful. Because, when you start to work this way, you really stop chasing the results, and then you really start to allow them, because you're now open to receiving. Your channel is open to receiving. And then you also are able to heal the blocks as you go, because this is one thing I know for sure, that your blocks will come up. If you are in your soul work, if you are building business, if you are launching business, whatever it is, an offer, whatever, each time that you grow, each time that you step into a new version of yourselves, an upgrade, a new launch, a new offer, a new product, whatever it is, your blocks, your fears, your doubt, your shame, your guilt, whatever it is, they will come up and try to stop you in your tracks. Your lack, your scarcity, all those things will come up. But having the inside scoop to why things are happening, what it's happening for, the bigger lesson, the thing you need to heal or embody, the tangible next steps you need to take to that next level, is how you're going to be able to grow sustainably without being cock-blocked, without seeing things as a failure, without throwing the towel in, without slowing down your own progress. And this is really important, because when you're building business that is an extension of your soul, all of your soul wounds will show up within that business, will show up within your money, your clients, your productivity, your reactivity, your triggers. It is all gonna be there. And the crazy thing is, in my first business, I worked through so much of my soul wounds that were coming up through that business. Speaking my truth. I mean, oh my God, so many things. And I learned so much from that 7.5 years, because I was being triggered left, right, and center. But now it's so easy, because I can just channel my guides and be like, okay, what's this? This feels sticky. What is this? Okay, how do I heal that? Let's clear that. Is that from my ancestry line? This is something I'm still carrying from my mom. Okay, let me go to this past lifetime. Let me see what's there. Let me clear that. Let me understand what I meant to integrate. Let me understand what I meant to learn and move forward. Versus me being stuck in fight or flight, freeze, getting rebellious, shutting down, going into stress, going into burnout, getting chronic illnesses, all of that stuff that I experienced back in my old business. This is not what we're doing anymore. This is not how we're working. This is not how your soul work, your purpose is meant to be. And when you start to build your business from a spirit-led perspective, it doesn't have to be like that anymore. So if you do have a business and you want to start bringing spirit into it, then just start channeling for yourself. And again, you might not know how to channel. This is something that I obviously teach, to actually learn how to fully channel, like have an open dialogue, a back and forth dialogue with your team in spirit, to get tangible and specific information. Like the way that I do it, it's just like I'm speaking to you now. That is how my spirit guides channel through me. The things that I like say is just how I hear it in my mind. And that is a skill that you obviously can open up. So again, like doing it every day, 5-10 minutes a day, just asking your spirit guides for guidance on your next steps, on your offers, why things feel sticky, why things aren't moving, and just see what information you get. Obviously, when you haven't opened this channel, you haven't learned to channel your spirit guides, this can be a bit more difficult. But just start to ask. The more that you start to just ask spirit, the more that you might have something drop in as a little download, or you might see a sign or get an intuitive nudge throughout that day. There's so many ways that you can start working with spirit, even if you haven't activated your full channeling skill set yet. And then just be open, because spirit is going to give you the nudges. When you ask, spirit's going to give you those intuitive hits, those downloads that you get in the shower. And the information that you get, take action on it, even if it doesn't make logical sense. Because again, you probably will get things that don't make logical sense. Don't just sit on it, act on it. And then just treat your business like a conscious partner, just like you would your partner in your marriage, and align all of your decisions with the shared vision of your soul purpose. And again, this is why channeling and learning to channel your business is so friggin' invaluable. And if you want to learn to do that, obviously work with someone that is experienced, a mentor like myself that can help you channel your spirit team and the consciousness of your business. We can channel the consciousness of money, your money guide. I mean, there's so many cool things that we can do. That is how I help my clients consistently scale and align their business with their soul purpose. Because this is the thing that I have learned. Business does not have to be exhausting. You don't have to push, hustle, and grind your way to success like I did previously, like I did for many, many years. Because when you learn to channel your spirit team, when you learn to work with the consciousness of your business, the consciousness of money, your offers, the consciousness of your purpose, your abundance, it's like having a partner that is perfectly aligned with your soul mission, but can help see things in a much higher perspective than you ever can. And when you step into that partnership, like this is when everything shifts. Your business starts to grow, your impact expands, and you start to create from flow instead of this place of force, which again, we're so programmed to be in that place of just constant forcing, and it feels horrible. I know it feels horrible for me anyway. Because your business, your unique gifts, your unique talents, your passions, they all have a very, very specific purpose. And the way that they're meant to be created, the way that they're meant to be birthed and expressed into this world, that is in a way that only you can do. Because you've got specific soul contracts related to your business, related to the impact that you're meant to have, related to your gifts, and related to the people that you're meant to touch through the channel that is your business, through the channel that is your skill set, your service. And when you actually learn to align and activate those within you, you're not only like living your purpose, but you're creating true fulfillment, true prosperity, true meaning to your life. Like impact and influence to make this world a better place. And you're going to be rewarded for it. Someone that has spent 11 years building and scaling businesses with some of the most innovative and talented people, helping them to step into careers of their dreams, helping them to understand and navigate and upgrade their skill sets. Running my 7-figure career consultancy for 7.5 years, of that 11 years. To then burn it to the ground to finally step into my soul work, my soul mission. Being fully led by spirit to use my unique set of gifts and passions and talents to help the next wave of soulpreneurs into spirit-led success. I know what it takes. And the key is being spirit-led. So I just want to thank you so much for listening today. If you've resonated with this, then please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And just remember, like, your business isn't just a business. It is a living, breathing extension of your soul. It is your own DNA that filters through every aspect of your business. And your spirit team is here to guide it with you. So if you're looking for support to take your business and your soul to the next level, all of the details of how to work with me are in the show notes below. All in the show notes below, in my private spiritual coaching, The Path. And I just want to send you so much love. If you have been called to scale, build business in a spirit-led way, then know there is something bigger that is guiding you, and something bigger that has guided you to listen to this episode today. So I'm sending you so much love. You're here to do some big, impactful things, and if you feel called, I would love to support you in that. Sending you so much love. Until the next time.